We have gone international. On today's episode, we have Edwina Jasarevic. She is a senior business development rep at a company called Liferay and is based in Australia. On top of that, she speaks four languages. I can't even speak two languages. She went to college in Shanghai and she formerly was in real estate.
Learn strategies all the way from Sydney, Australia, on how you can be the king and queen of social, just like Edwina was, and how she has become the SDR of the quarter through her LinkedIn tactical strategies and philosophies, as well as some examples that she'll share. Your success is our success, so let's get started.
From the heart of Silicon Valley in beautiful San Francisco, California, welcome to the SDR Live podcast with Marcos and Andy.
Awesome. Welcome back to another episode of the SDR Live. Today we have a special guest. She's absolutely crushing it. Edwina Jasarevic. Did I say that right, Edwina?
Yeah, that's right. Good job. Hey, guys.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. We're stoked to have you here today.
Likewise. Good to be here. And hi to all the viewers out there.
Yeah. So if the viewers don't know, I hear some accent. Where are you from? And then also, like, what's your current role at?
Yeah. So I am based in Sydney and been living here all my life. My current role, I am a senior BDR at Liferay. And the
Nice.
team here is just me and this other BDR guy called Josh. And it's pretty exciting times because Liferay has been around for like over 15 years now, but we just started a new team here in Sydney, so everyone's pretty much less than a year old, and we're just building out some new procedures.
I'm kind of curious. I saw that you came from Okta, as a previous BDR. Can you tell us a little bit about like working for the differences between working for an enterprise BDR versus kind of a new stage startup with a smaller team?
Yeah, so actually at Okta, I was looking after mid-market and also corporate accounts, and now I'm actually doing more enterprise. So that's kind of the differences there. But also because Okta is a really kind of established company, there's like a lot of people in the BDR, SDR team, and everything was kind of set with the structure and stuff. So moving to Liferay was a lot more different because we're kind of building everything up now from scratch, which is a lot more it's more exciting, and I'm a lot more involved in the process and being influential on these next steps to see how it all turns out.
No, that's great. And so I always get curious, right? So like Andy said, there's a huge difference between the different companies. As far as you now, like, what's your territory like? Are you overseeing just all of Australia, or do you get to go over the entire world? Like, you get to prospect into the US? How does that work?
So we are pretty much just ANZ, Australia and New Zealand, and there's no patches defined just of yet. We do have 3 account executives that, like, one of them looks after more Victoria side and others kind of share New South Wales. But yeah, at the moment it's kind of free for all, which is great because there's a lot to cover and like a lot more opportunities to find when you're not really restricted to a certain patch. But then again, it's probably good to have a defined territory, which makes things a lot more easier, like not stepping on anyone's toes, things like that.
Yeah, I hear you there. So for the audience, obviously, like, we're stoked to have you because you call yourself the queen of LinkedIn, the social media queen. So we're going to get into some of your strategy. But before that, can you talk to us about like the best quarter or month you've ever had? And from a percentage standpoint, what was that over quota?
So the best result I've ever gotten as an SDR would actually be the first quarter of when I joined at Okta, and I hit 116% of my quota. So
Wow.
that was good times.
Better than Andy over here.
And you said you were quarter of the SDR of the quarter, correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So obviously, like, you must have some great insights. So like, we're stoked for you to share some of your strategies, and we'll get that started now.
Okay, guys. So now I want to kind of present a bit on social selling and how I became the SDR of the quarter through LinkedIn. So these are just a bit of my strategies, and maybe you're already doing this or you're doing it differently, but just wanted to share some insight and maybe hopefully help you at the end of the day if you're just starting out your SDR, BDR role, or you're already in the role. So to start, I came across this quote, the modern consumer is digitally driven, socially connected, and mobile empowered by Jill Rowley. And I think like this quote really resonates with me, and I feel like a lot of SDRs and BDRs at this time of age, because technology has really changed the way on how we interact, and now people are spending a lot more time online, not only on like LinkedIn, but also like TikTok and like Instagram and Facebook. So I feel like we as SDRs and BDRs need to be kind of creative in our outreach to people, and to kind of be able to resonate with them a lot more around utilizing these tools that we have, and hopefully get some more results out of it. So brace yourself, social selling is coming.
Let's go.
So a bit of an overview. When I started my SDR role, I actually got presented social selling from this lady, and that really stuck to me even till today. And I feel like from the way that she presented it is something that I kind of want to share with you guys, and hopefully it will stick with you. So when you're doing your prospecting and stuff, it's just something that you can have top of mind. But I know that everyone's different. Like, you might be better at emailing or like cold calling, but this is just my way of doing things and how I like to prospect. So with social selling, also just top of mind, I like to make a cheat sheet. So if you, if you have like an Excel sheet, and on the bottom you'll have like different verticals, and like, for example, education or like government, and then within that section you have already pre-made like messages that you've already made around the value that your company can bring. And basically all you can really do is just like copy those and like paste them into these messages that you're going to be outreaching to people. It's just like a more short way of doing it, and obviously personalizing it once you know a bit more about their actual job and anything that's on their profile. So
real quick, question on that was, so with this cheat sheet, right, if I understand correctly, the whole, like the way you go about your prospecting on LinkedIn is first you create a cheat sheet and you do it by vertical, and then you have like a LinkedIn message, or do you have like emails that you're going to send in a sequence? It's probably more of the former, I would think.
So let me talk to you about my cadence first. Sorry, maybe it will make more sense.
Yeah.
So my cadence, usually the first step would be like adding someone on LinkedIn, but like waiting for them to actually connect with me. So like I'll just send them a short message saying like Edwina / company I'm working for. And I won't message them unless they've accepted it. Reason is I feel like Sales Navigator doesn't really work in terms of messaging, and like a lot of my messages that I sent on there previously haven't been opened up or like been seen at all. So that's why I believe like it's really important to actually connect with the person first, because it gives you that green light to go and like speak to them, because they've looked on your profile and they've probably like checked at which company you're working at if they had that time, and then once they've accepted it, it's like, okay, yeah, like sure, we can connect, and that's like the best time to send them a message. Anyway, so then step one was like add them on LinkedIn. Second step would be to send them a personalized email. Third step would be to call them, and then if they like hadn't done any of those two, I would send them an email send them a message on LinkedIn. And that's only if they've connected with me though. Like if they don't, then I'll just keep trying the other ones. Or if they've connected with me like straight away, I would skip the personalized email and I'll just send them like a message. So yeah, it really depends. It's a bit.
Yeah. So
yeah, I like how you're combining kind of the omni-channel approach with a data-driven approach, just because like you're using email, calls as well as LinkedIn to sell, but also using the data-driven approach to kind of understand their engagement. Like if they connect with you on LinkedIn, you said that there's a green light that they will be more receptive to either your calls, either your emails, as well as your LinkedIn messages. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think the idea is kind of like warming them up, right?
I like
Therefore, it's not completely cold. You could just like, if you're calling them, be like, hey, like we connected on LinkedIn. Just thought I'd give you a call. Like, there's different ways that you can like approach it. So yeah, just to step one, obviously, I'm sure you guys all have great LinkedIn profiles, but make sure that you're keeping it professional, having really a good like photo that's like done professionally, or like you could have taken it yourself. And to think that you are like an ambassador of your company, so you're really representing them as well as representing yourself, and kind of personalize your profile as well, so you can have things about yourself written in there. That background, I actually got that made.
Oh, really?
I I got it. I asked a designer to like make it for me, and then
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome. Going
The queen of social.
the queen of social, I mean, absolutely crushing it.
You got to go above and beyond.
Is that New York? Is that New York with like Liferay
yeah,
billboard? Okay.
That's brilliant.
I was actually going to ask you, like, you must have some crazy Photoshop skills, but like the truth is out now. We know your tools to success. That's
I
awesome.
wish. But with that, like, I actually gave that around to members of my team, and I like to promote it within the company, right? So it's just all about best practices and helping each other out. So yeah, it's good to see like a few of my team have that as well.
Well, I think the really cool thing about that is that you're also building your brand internally, right? Which is going to help you get promoted. It's going to help you build everyone knows like Edwina, like she's a go-to person, right? And, as your SDR, that's what you want to do. You want to share those little nuggets of insight so people can, breed that success, right? So that's awesome that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. And some other things such as following target companies. So, there's special ways in Navigator that you can follow companies that are in your target account, and like adding them to a list and saving that search. So when like something happens, like someone's moved from like that's your customer and then they moved to a new company, that's a reason to reach out, right? That's a trigger. So you can send them a message and say, hey, like, you used to work with this company, congrats on the new role. Wanted to have a conversation around XYZ. And I think the new role one is like really useful. So like even if it's someone that you don't know and like wasn't from a current customer or anything like that, and they started a new role, even just sending them a message saying like, hey, congrats on the new role, actually has a lot of, I guess, effect to it, and I get a lot of responses from that.
And do you include that message in the kind of connection request, or is it after they've connected?
No, it's after I've connected with them. So that would go in like, that would be like one of the main headings once I've connected and I'm writing them a message being like, hey, like congrats on the new role at da-da-da. I wanted to reach out with XYZ. Yeah.
Got it.
I'm like really curious, and there we go. I was gonna
some examples.
What exactly are some examples? But man, this is great. So I'll let you walk us through it.
Sure. So make sure, obviously, before you send a message to make that connection so you get that green light. The first example on the right side is me saying, hey, their name. Great to connect with you. I hope that you're being well. I wanted to reach out because you are, that title of the company. After reading more around your profile, I noticed that you manage and develop multiple online learning projects and implement the latest technologies for company name. And then enter value prop, right? So at Liferay, we work with similar organizations such as XYZ, and this is how we've helped them. Do you have good availability for an introductory chat this week? Cheers. And then I got a response from that person, and they said, "Hey, Edwina, thanks for your introduction. I'm currently on secondment with this ministry and project, and will be returning back in mid-June. I'll be happy to meet with you then, or I could pass your inquiry to a colleague. Which would you prefer?" So obviously, I waited with him. It's probably better to go direct with that person than actually having it passed
Exactly,
on.
and that's a meeting right there.
It's a meeting. Oh. That's why we're exceeding quota right there, just like that. Wait, question on this. I just noticed this, but you sent this at 2:46 p.m. and it came back at 3:37. So you're getting responses within under an hour. That's amazing.
That's unheard of.
That is unheard
of. Some days are better than the others. Speaking about that, sometimes I'll get messages at 9 o'clock at night from C-levels. So the reason why that they're messaging this late is probably because, they're really busy during the whole day. And once they've got time to unwind, they'll look through all the messages again. And then I guess it's with LinkedIn as well, you can see when they've seen your message. Mm-hmm. So it's that extra pressure of hey, you need to reply to me now. Don't leave me on red. And so I think that's also one of the benefits of using LinkedIn. And yeah, so with the C-levels, I feel a lot of them just like to reply really late when they have time to actually go through and sit down and I don't know, go through social and have a beer or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I get a lot of responses at that time, right? So if you're using LinkedIn, don't be shocked to get messages later at night.
Love it.
And then the example on the left is with this guy, I sent him a personalized email and he hadn't responded to me yet, but then I saw that he connected with me on LinkedIn. So I was just going to go straight to LinkedIn and be hey, thanks for connecting with me. Hope you're well. I sent you an email earlier. Let me know if you received it. And then he replied, "Hey, Edwina, thanks for the email. I'll probably tee up a time next week. I don't know much about Liferay, and I'm curious to find out more about the personalization in particular. I've reached out to my manager to see if she wants to join the call. I'll reply to your email when I hear back from her." So it's using the multi-channels, right? You can send your email first and then you can hit them up on LinkedIn. And I would say it's more persistence.
I was just going to say the professional persistence part is definitely key to this, especially when you're doing omni-channel approaches, because when you're showing up on a prospect's email and then in their voicemail and as well as their LinkedIn, they'll be who is this person? They've contacted me from three different channels. I need to at least either reply back or let me dive a little deeper. So that's brilliant.
There's no shame in the SDR or BDR role.
Big skin.
That is the best quote I've heard. Question though was on, okay, so I'm really curious because I use LinkedIn as well. I'll send a message similar to yours, but say for example, this person doesn't get back to you. Do you send a follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you do, how many times do you send a follow-up until this prospect is dead to you?
I would probably do it 2 times.
Okay.
So I would, if I sent them the first message and they didn't see it, I'd message them again and be "Hey, just wanted to follow up on my message below and see if you're open to an introduction this week." And usually they reply on that one because they probably feel a bit guilty for replying, or obviously they're probably really busy. But following on that as well, like another technique that I do is I use GIFs sometimes to grab people's attention. So the GIF on the left, the little penguin saying hello, I use this all the time because it's cute. And
Good one.
with that one, I messaged a prospect, and I didn't like copy the message in because he didn't reply to me, and that's why I sent a GIF. And then from after I sent the GIF, he's like, "Hey, Edwina, great GIF, certainly grabbed my attention." And then went on about how they're most likely going to go with another vendor. But like, I didn't have to ask him really anything, and he really just gave you that information that I could use for my response back to him, being like, "Hey, you know, great that you're thinking of going with vendor X. This is how we differentiate." You know, you could use that, or you could just tell your account executive like this is what they're using, and then like come up with a strategy together and like how to message other people in the company. So yeah, that's one example. And then the one on the right, that one was just like more like having fun because like I sent a message to this guy that just started a new role, and then he wasn't replying to me, so I was like, oh, what do I have to lose to like send him a GIF? So, I like, because I asked him for like a coffee introduction, and then so what I did is I sent him a coffee GIF, and then I was like, I'm sure the conversation will be just as great as the coffee.
Oh,
like, you know,
I like that.
A little
some flattery.
And then yeah, they responded, yeah, hey Edwina, thanks for your message. I'll ask my manager if she can join too, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, but something to note, that person responded within mere seconds of you sending this. I mean, 11:45 a.m. and then 11:45 a.m. response. I mean, so there has to be some strategy. So I know like they have the green dot, right? Or like shows that they're active. Are you sending that when you see that they're active? Do you have any strategy behind that?
I usually try to send a message as soon as I connect with that person because I know that they're online.
And do you have a connection message that you use to like increase your conversion rate of people connecting with you?
Yeah, so I feel like less is more. So I just write my name / my company, like Liferay.
Got it.
Wait, so when you connect, like if you're connecting with Andy, right, you would just say Edwina / Liferay? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Whoa, okay. I have to try that. I'm gonna try that, honestly. I never thought of that. I usually send like a message, but that's interesting. Okay.
Right. And gifts, because that penguin gif is definitely cute. And people will respond to that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool. So those are kind of like my two main strategies.
Nice.
Short and sweet. I'm sure that you guys are doing your own social media way of reaching out to prospects, but these are some things that just work for me. So yeah, key takeaways would be, you know, set your profile up for success. Make sure that you are connecting with prospects before reaching out, and ask for time, not a meeting. And I guess if you're looking at their profile as well, find certain trigger points to write a message regarding that would be like of interest to them. Or like even if you go into like strategic reports or like company news, you can like even pop that in as well as a conversation starter.
I have a question in regards to Vidyard, right? There's been this huge thing like video prospecting. So are you starting to use more video into your outreach? And that could be like LinkedIn, right? So, because I know once you put the link in the LinkedIn, it'll show like the play button. Are you starting to do that as well?
Yeah, like funnily you asked. I actually am testing that out right now because I've seen a lot of videos now from like influencers, like sales influencers, talking about how like, you know, videos is an upcoming stream that like everyone should kind of use to reach out to prospects. That it's like a lot more personalized and stuff. So yeah, I'm testing that out. I'm still trying to figure out the best approach of that, but definitely sending that in with like once they've accepted my LinkedIn request, that's like another way that I could reach out to them, or like just having that on an email as well.
That's great.
That's brilliant. And just a note to the audience, like I know as more people are going to adopt kind of video as well as kind of video prospecting, I just encourage everybody to kind of start that chain. Like I know, I think before personalized messages were really hot, and now it becomes a norm that everybody has to do a personalized message just for people to come in because everyone was doing mass blast before. I can kind of see that for video prospecting, where video prospecting might be the norm, where you almost need video prospecting to kind of grab your attention because that's going to kind of set the bar. So I just encourage everybody to do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and funny that you say that, Andy, because I was actually listening to a podcast before this. John Barris, we love John. He was talking to the VP of marketing, I believe, at Vidyard, and they were saying that they've seen an uptick in videos getting accepted because of COVID, right? So like you send a personalized message, but people are, a lot of SDRs are sending personalized messages, but really you want to show like your enthusiasm, your excitement for your product, right? And that's really resonating. So I thought that was really interesting. Awesome. Well, yeah, I learned just so much just this right now, right? And I'm going to incorporate that starting today. And I hope all the audience does too. Go out, incorporate it. You got to be experimenters, right? We got to be scientists. So we're going to finish up with some rapid fire questions for Edwina, put you on the hot seat. First question, do you love to win or do you hate to lose?
I love to win.
Oh. But
awesome.
Why?
Yes.
Because it feels good. Right. And
that's all we
need. Yep.
You're right. You're right. Losing sucks. Or as salespeople, everyone's competitive too. So I definitely agree. All right. Next question. What is your favorite thought leader? Who is your favorite thought leader in sales?
John Barrows, 100%.
JB, John Barrows.
Make it happen Mondays.
Yeah, John Barrows is great. Yeah, thanks for that. And then obviously there's a lot of sales books, but there could be a book that you just like. It could be fiction, it could be nonfiction, it could be something that's changed your life. So would love to learn any, books that you would recommend to the audience.
Yeah, definitely. One that I read recently is called Multipliers. And this comes into relation on that comment that you made on like how I like to share things with the greater team. And it's basically like having a leader strategy of complementing everyone's, I guess, best ability to do something, and bringing that all together because everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, right? And a really good leader would take into cooperation what they're good at and kind of collaborating that around with the team. So I feel like it's a really good book and it's very insightful, and everyone should read it.
Awesome. Identifying value.
Andy, I think you and I both need to read that ASAP.
Is that so? Awesome. Last question. What is the biggest mistake you've made as an SDR, and what is some advice that you would give to people to avoid those?
My biggest mistake as an SDR was not asking for help earlier in my career. Because, I'm sure once you start a role, it's like, okay, I want to do it all myself and like I want to learn by myself. But sometimes, like especially with the SDR role, it's just so intense, and like especially if you're new to tech and like all these processes, it can get a very overwhelming. So, when you know that you're kind of stuck, it's really good to like ask for help from like your colleagues or like your AEs or even your manager, and like I'm sure everyone would be more than supportive to help you guys out. So that's something that I definitely didn't do when I first started and got into a bit of a pickle at the start. But then once I realized that all I needed to do was ask for help, I shot up really quickly. And so that's a good word of advice for you guys.
That's really good. Oh, go ahead, Eddie.
go ahead, Marcus.
No, I was gonna say, no, that's perfect because that's like a call to action. Because I even struggled with that when I started, and I'm not like I've been top performer, but I remember when I started and I was like not wanting to ask for help. but I had maybe my come to Jesus moment. I guess everyone says that, right? When you're like in the big leagues. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this all by myself. And so that's like a call to action for all the SDRs, everyone that's listening. Like, go follow Edwina on LinkedIn, like ask for help. Do you follow back? That's the main question.
Yes, I will follow everyone back, and any word of advice, I'm willing to help. So feel free to hit me up.
How are people able to follow you? What is your tag or your handle, etc.?
I think it's just Edwina Jasarevic on
Nice.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
Awesome.
On my profile.
So we'll do that. And it was a pleasure speaking with you, learning your strategy. And we really appreciate your time today. And something to note to the audience is that it is 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific, or for me here. But what time is it in Australia right now? It's like lunchtime, right?
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
Oh, man, so jealous. But anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And just remember, the audience, your success is our success. So, follow Edwina.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marcos and Andy. It's really good to meet you guys. And thanks for staying up.
Thank you for listening to the SDR Live podcast. If you like this episode, please share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you tune in next week and have a fantastic week.